You mentioned something earlier that I was sort of curious about. You said that RPA hasn't really borne out full promise, but now you feel like it might be able to. What is it that LLMs or AI can provide to RPA or automation more broadly that hasn't been possible in the past? Like, what's the relationship there?
Sure. So one of the challenges when you start layering, just take a term orchestration, and we take a term called process orchestration. We take a subset of that, which is basically workflow on steroids, which is basically, and you get this automation. Part of that is kind of that automation with the end user and the stuff where there were, hands on keyboards and being able to better automate and a lot of this through experience management tools and other things. And the whole technology has kind of evolved from RPA to intelligent automation to agentic, automation, et cetera. But a lot of those integrations, because ultimately when you layer something on top, you got to integrate to all the crap underneath, right? It's like one of the most complicated surgeries on the face of the earth is face transplant surgery. And you're like, oh, it's just, not to go gory here, but it's like, oh, it's just skinning, but it's like a day and a half of hooking up the new face to like literally all the systems, so integration is a major issue, especially with security. All right. And those are vectors, threat vectors. And when it's built, you don't want to mess with it, right? Which is kind of one of the things why people don't want to upgrade. One of the key things is taking these hard-coded integrations, taking these very fragile APIs, and ultimately being able to get to a higher level of integration where you can say, and in the business systems to say, I want to turn a PR into a PO, or I want to take an RFQ and turn it, multi-round bidding event. And I just want to say it either conversationally or at a high level. And then the AI is like, got it. Well, I know that you're running 6 different business systems, some ERP, some S2P. I know the dialects that they speak. I know what's required for them. I know that one doesn't have it. So I need to either write it myself and do that translation. And so if you look at, some of the things that are happening now in, Agentic, whether it's around A to A or Model Context Protocol, MCP, it's all about linking these low level integrations and APIs up to higher levels of abstraction so that you can now, and this is the next generation systems, will be writing to these kind of data models that are not in one vendor, but it's to a general purpose object, so it's a virtual, vendor master or, bill of material or whatever it is. And underneath the covers, the tech helps you build the deterministic tooling that actually integrates to all that stuff underneath. So now you basically have a supplier information management functionality built right in. And it's built right in because the AI helps you do that mapping between the modeling of the business processes and the user and the data to tools and all those and basically all the apps that need to be cared and fed for until they're replaced by the next generation systems. And that was always the problem with RPA, very fragile, the integration and keeping it fine. So, yeah.
Fragile. That's the word that I had also heard, is that you would build one of these automations, and then the minute that a software vendor changes a pixel, then all of a sudden you have to go and reconnect the pipes. In a weird way, it kind of seems like it would stifle innovation, because if you're like, hey, I'm worried that if I take one step, I'm going to be a bull in a china shop on RPA, then nobody wants to do it. So I think it makes perfect sense that LLMs can make that process more robust. It is interesting. So I guess a question I'm curious about, though, is at what point do we, RPA away people versus enhance them to do more stuff, right? So there's two possible futures, or maybe they're both the future, just at different timescales. One is saying, hey, we're going to take people that we have in our organization and we're going to supercharge them with AI tools so they can do the work of like 10 people. There's another mindset where some companies come to the market and they say, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to build we're competing with people. So if you think about in the case of customer service, companies like Diagon are, is that what it's called? Diagon, right? Yeah, Diagon. They were trying to replace folks who are actually at these call centers with AI agents, like customer service agents, not agentic agents. I guess they're both, but where do you think is the role for like human enhancement versus replacement in the procurement space?
Yeah, well, I think you've highlighted just you can look to analog areas, right, where you can just
Yeah.
already proving out, right? So customer support, right? You can say, well, that's like procurement help desk, right? Or any kind of shared
Mm.
service, any kind of business function, that's supporting, the business units, right? So, and basically managing that knowledge and the FAQs and the triage and the interaction, you're building a knowledge base, right? And
Right.
helping the humans, and whether you're deploying that right out to the end users or whether it's through a COE or, whatever it is, that's great. It's a knowledge management exercise. And yeah, it's just going to make them more productive, and you're going to need to hire less of them. And maybe there's going to be some, reduction in workforce that's needed because people are just not as busy, right? But you see this also, you come from the manufacturing world. It's the same thing in manufacturing, right? When you go to more highly automated environments and this question of, oh, we're going to replace the people with robots. Well, yeah, I mean, when you're going to bring in more sophisticated automation, and whether it's purpose built human, like, the Japanese mindset around flexible manufacturing and building small machine tools and all that, or whether it's the larger robotic systems, or whether, I mean, you worked at Tesla, the mega, system, it's going to have an impact on labor, right? And you're going to have to take resources out that are no longer capable of kind of being upskilled to kind of be the transformers or the work centers themselves, right? And so
Yeah.
the same with procurement.